39. Oh, not 39, 31. Not 31, 35. And he came to them and said to them, when I sent you out without money belt, bag, and sandals, you did not lack anything, did you? And they said, no, nothing. And he said to them, but now whoever has a money belt is to take it along, and likewise also a bag, and whoever has no sword is to sell his coat and buy one. For I tell you that this which is written must be fulfilled in me. And it quotes, and he was numbered with the transgressors, for which refers to me has its fulfillment. And they said, Lord, look, here are 2 swords. And he said to them, it's enough. Are we ready to go back there, Tilly? All set. You will recall early in the ministry of Jesus, probably 2 to 3 years earlier, he sent the disciples on a trip without any money and without any food and without any extra clothing, and even according to this particular passage, without any shoes. So we can assume that, thank you. We can assume that it was in the summertime when this occurred. We know that it was not in the summertime when this event we're talking about occurred, because we see Peter around the fire warming himself up during this time. So it was at a time of the year where it was fairly cold. It was in March probably, or the beginning of April. And Jesus is coming to the end of his life. In fact, he's going to die that day. And the disciples are tired, and Jesus is tired, and Judas has betrayed him, and he's gone to, he is actually, at the meantime of what we're talking about, he's gone, and he's taken the 30 pieces of silver bribe from the priests, and they are about to come and arrest him. And he says to the disciples, basically, in this passage, there was one way that we operated before, and now it's time for new way of operation. You went without money, you went without extra clothes, you went without protection, and everything was okay. In fact, when the disciples came back from that earlier mission trip, they were really excited. They said, the devils are subject to us, and we've healed the sick, and we've preached the gospel. And they were told in those days that when they went on the mission, they were to come into the village. They would find somebody who was worthy, which meant somebody who would take them into their home. They were told not to jump from home to find a better bed to sleep in or better food to eat. They were to stay in that house. They were to let the peace of God come upon that house, and when they would leave, they would leave with the peace of God. And if anybody didn't listen to them, they were told to shake the dust off their feet as they left the village or the city, and it would be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah than for that village if they didn't listen to the gospel message that was preached by the disciples. So that was the way that they were taught. Now, there are certain, let me see how I can say this. This is going to be broadcast outside here. There are certain groups that would say, unless we go door to door and knock on doors, that we are not following the gospel. This is how it has to be done. Well, Jesus said, that's how we used to do it, but from now on there's going to be a new way to do it. That's not going to work anymore. When he was starting in his ministry, Jesus was multiplying his ministry by sending them out 2 by 2 to all the different villages. There were places where Jesus intended to come and had not come yet, and they were to prepare a way for Jesus to come and to preach in those cities. And that it also was a way for Jesus to know which place to beware of maybe he wouldn't even go there if they wouldn't listen to the disciples. But Jesus is now at the end of the road. I couldn't find a picture which adequately describes this because, first of all, it wouldn't be a nice country road like this, and it would be a place of crucifixion, which would be, there would be a number of crosses there. We know that there were at least 3. And I couldn't find a picture of Jesus on the cross. You go into a Catholic church or to a Anglican church, Episcopal church, and you'll see the cross with Jesus on the cross. You go into a Protestant church, you see the cross without Jesus on the cross. And those are both theological statements, because some are pointing out the death aspect of the ministry of Jesus, and some are accentuating the result aspect, the risen Christ, as opposed to the dying Christ. But both are absolutely essential. But I couldn't find a cross at the end of the road that would represent this accurately, so I just took the best picture that I could get, just to let you know that this is the end of the ordinary life of Jesus. Now it says in John 12:27 what the purpose of Christmas is. This is the next slide, Tilly. John records that Jesus said this, "My soul has become troubled, and what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour? But for this purpose I came to this hour." This ultimate purpose in the life of Jesus, in the obedience of Jesus, began 9 months before Christmas. 9 months before Jesus was born. And the plan of God goes all the way back to the beginning of history. And so, as John records, in this time that we're talking about, in this couple of hours that we're talking about, Jesus told the disciples that this was the purpose. Now, let me tell you this. Next week, we will not move on to the arrest and crucifixion of Jesus on Christmas Sunday. I'm going to skip it till the next week. We'll have a regular Christmas message, and we'll have a regular time. By the way, if you are afraid to eat other people's food in the potluck, bring your own food to the breakfast and eat it. Some people, I don't know who made that, there's no extra charge for this. We'll have eggs and stuff, won't we?
Sure.
Who's in charge of this, by the way? Will we have eggs?
I was going to make quiche.
Quiche?
Restless quiche for the gluten-free.
Okay, the gluten-free people will be taken care of. The rest of you can fend for yourselves. So we'll have that breakfast before church and regular church service, regular Christmas message, and then on Christmas Eve, 6 till about 6:45, just 45-minute service. Usually there's a lot of visitors from around on that night, so please come and participate if you're available. What's the purpose? The purpose is for Jesus to give his life. That's why he came on Christmas. See, I did get it in there. Then he said, "When I sent you out without a purse, bag, or sandals, did you lack anything?" And they said, "No, not a thing." Now that must be take a lot of faith if I said to a couple of you, don't take any money, don't take any shoes, don't take any extra clothes, and walk to Buffalo and preach to the people in the city and eat whatever they give you and sleep wherever they'll let you. Would you do it? No, of course not. Disciples would do it. That's the difference between the disciples and us. They were 100% sold out because they believed in who he was. And so they went out by faith. One time my brother and I had this great idea. We're going to go to camp, and we're not going to take any food with us. And we're going to kill our own meals. Well, no, we had buffalo squirrel. But it was fun, and it was just like an afternoon. No big deal. It's, we weren't there to try and find breakfast the next day or lunch the next day. But these guys went out for a period of time, and they were really happy, and they came back rejoicing, number one, because they had the opportunity to serve Christ and do what he was asking them to do. But number two, because some people accepted Christ, and some people were happy about their message, and the Lord took care of them. The Lord does take care of us. I can attest to that. Now, throughout my lifetime, we were really poor when we first got married, believe it or not. But God has taken care of us. And so Jesus said, he reminds them of God's faithfulness to them in the past. This is back in chapter 10, when this ministry event occurred. So it was like a year and a half ago in our discussions in the book of Luke. Did you lack anything? They said no. I send you out as lambs in the midst of the wolves. Carry no money belt, no bag, no shoes. Greet no one on the way. Can you imagine that? Going where they're going, and if they meet people on the way, don't talk to them. Put your mind to where you're going and take care of it. No money belt, no bag, no shoes. Greet no one. Whatever house you enter, first say, peace be to this house. And if a man of peace is there, your peace will rest on him. But if not, it will return to you. Stay in the house eating and drinking